Hi everyone! Thanks for joining me in my home studio again. I'm really glad you joined me. I wanted to work on a beginning perspective drawing today and the beginnings of how to draw a house. We're going to talk about perspective, and we will be talking about perspective going forward in other lessons as well. So I wanted to show you this first. This is a painting I did when I was in elementary school, and I did not know anything about perspective. And this is a church on the old Bethpage Restoration Village. So I was doing pretty well here until I got to here, and I did not know what to do. So what did I do in my young mind? Stuck a tree there. So the church just ends right at that trunk. Also, I didn't understand perspective as far as the fence, and it ends up in the steeple. But I just thought this was so cute. I just came across it, and I wanted to show it to you. And as always, lovingly, my father made a frame for it, and he wrote on the back my name and Old Bethpage Restoration, Long Island, New York. And it hung in our home all my life. So I'm going to put this down. All right, so let's get started on today's subject. This is the home of a dear friend of ours who lives in New Jersey. My son rented an apartment from him, and we just became the most wonderful of friends. Tom would spend hours talking with him and felt like he was a third grandfather. He's over 90 years young and one of the coolest people I've ever met. So, in addition, the neighborhood kids call him Grandpa, and the parents, the community comes and visits, and we stand and talk on the porch. And it's wonderful because when I was growing up, there were porches, and then decks became in style. So people went from the front of the house to the back, and people didn't see each other passing on the street anymore or talking anymore. So that's one of the reasons I love to visit our friend, and we have long discussions and visits on the porch. You'll notice on the porch there's a Christmas tree, but there are also 4th of July flags on the railing. And that's because our friend has 2 Christmas trees set up all year round, one on the porch, one inside, and his train sets. And it gives joy all year round. I chose this subject because I love the house, I love the visits, and I want you to create what you love, what you have an emotional connection to. So this is a sketch I made of the house when we were visiting the last time. I want to show you this one first because this is my first rough sketch. And I show you this because I want you to know that people don't have perfect drawings right away. And I want you to just start. I want you to just try. Okay? So after I don't want to say how many years have I been drawing, over 50 years. This is how I began. And I decided that I didn't want this part of the other person's yard. I had made an X in it, and I also made notes to myself on it. These kind of drawings are electric, they're alive, they're fun. And a lot of people prefer them, as I've said in other lessons, more than a finished, polished drawing. So I went from this to then this, which is a bit more finished. And I was trying to decide, okay, do I want to fill in a lot of this bush here? Do I want to leave it open? I was filling in different things. Do I want this dark? Do I want this light? Do I want these bushes darker like here, or maybe lighter with lines? So you can do many variations on a theme, many variations of your subject. So now we're going to talk more about perspective. And then we'll get right into drawing, I promise. So linear perspective is the way that we see something in space, and it's three-dimensional. So we need this technique in order to make it look three-dimensional on our flat plane. And your flat plane is your paper. So you've probably heard about this in the past. You might have been confused by it. 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and 3-point perspective. Again, linear perspective. There are other kind of perspectives that we'll talk about in the future. So as I said, it helps us create a three-dimensional object on a flat plane. You're probably familiar with this, 1-point perspective. And that is when two parallel lines seem to meet at the vanishing point, at the horizon. So there's a big black circle I drew. That's our point. So 1 point. Here we have a box that we're looking at from the corner. And this is 2-point perspective because we're not just seeing the front of the box like that. So to complicate things further, but it's not that hard once you get used to it. If you're looking at the water and the sand and the sea and the sky, you're going to see a natural horizon. We also have something called a true horizon level, or your eye level. So when I was sitting sketching this house, I had an eye level, and my eye level was here. And the way we know that's my eye level is because it's horizontal. Okay? Right. So we have horizon line. Right? Land, where land meets sky, where sea meets sky. Again, 2 points because we're going to see a side of this cube. And essentially a house is just a cube. Or in a box. Series of boxes as well. And a basic principle of perspective is anything above your eye level is going to angle down, and anything below your eye level is going to angle up. If you get confused when you're drawing, just go back to where's my eye level, because even I will get confused sometimes, like, wait, which way is that angle going? And I get back to that horizon line. So here in this drawing, this line is level, and this railing is slightly going down. And this down here is slightly going up, as in the steps. The steps are almost straight lines. Okay, so that's a really basic concept, and perspective is the foundation for any very good art. It's very important to learn. So this may look a little complicated to start, but I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, we're going to start off very simply. So, ready to draw? And remember, we might not get all the way through this tonight, and that's okay. We can do another lesson. I just want to get you started on the basic concepts of drawing a house. I would like you to draw a rectangle right now. It's just a simple rectangle. Sorry, the tape got in my way there. And we're going to fit this house around, sort of in and around this rectangle to give us a departure point. So, okay, so we're here. Let's think about our eye level. So how is the roof going to go? It's going to go down. Just draw a straight line. Just draw a straight line, angling down. Don't worry if you don't get the angle correct. But I'm going to do a point here. It's not a vanishing point, but similar to connecting the dots, I like to teach people, like especially young children. I say, okay, and I'll draw a dot, and I'll say, draw that line to my dot, and it helps a lot. I love dot to dots when I was little. So we're up here, and this house has a few different angles, so it's a little challenging, but we're going to go down and over. And stop. You can stop at your rectangle line. Remember, you're going to erase. I'm drawing very darkly now so you can see it. Well, that wasn't very dark, was it? So let me make that darker. Not used to drawing dark. Okay, now all the lines going this way above my horizontal line are going to be parallel. And this side of the house is going to be this way, just like this cube here. Right? So we're going to be doing a porch on this part of the house. There's some windows on this part of the house. And quite often, now that we're here, I just want to mention quickly, we often won't see exactly the same on either side of that corner. So especially in this situation, we have more of the front of the house showing than the side of the house. Okay? And if we continued those lines, it would reach the vanishing point. If we continue these lines, it would reach the vanishing point. Okay, enough about the points. So we want to do this porch. So what I did is, it's a little hard from my angle because of the camera, but I roughed in. Remember, these are going to be the same distance apart. I roughed in the top of the porch. And I'm going to stop at my triangle, my rectangle's line, sorry. I'm going to join the roof. Not going to think about the dormers yet. I'm going to join the roof like this, because the roof has a lovely curve. Not going to think about all these angles yet, but I'm going to go back up to my point and go down to the porch. The next step I took was to locate the 4 posts. So we have one at the end of our, let's see, we have one there, and you can be looking at this with me. Here is one at this juncture. I don't want you to worry about the detail of all the different pieces of wood that are there. Okay. One. Let's see. One at the end. That's a part of the house. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, not worrying about the detail quite yet. So, we're going to now do the line of the railing. Still angling, it's almost horizontal, but because we're above this level line, it's slightly down, going downhill, leaving a space for the open doorway. And you can jump around and do whatever interests you the most first. I forgot about our wonderful chimney. So, vertical, vertical, vertical. And these can be loosely laid in now, and later you can use your T-square to make them all straight up and down. But I want to just get the location of where my things are on our drawing. Okay, so this line at the top of the chimney is going to angle the same way as the roof line. And this one is going to angle down for the other side of the house. Oh, a little top there. From here, I want to depart to the railings of the porch. So it comes out of this post to here, and then a vertical. You can see how it's beginning to take shape, right? Looking at your angles. And from here, I'd like to go to the flags. So we have the flags hanging down. We want to, do they hang down halfway over or not? Almost halfway over. I'm going to do a curve here for that bottom color, which I believe is red. And then we have blue. And then I believe it was a rectangle of red. This flag comes up from here. Okay. Now, in the future, we'll be talking about fabric and how it folds and hangs. We're going to be doing a flag lesson, and that's a great way to learn about the curves in fabric and how to make it look like fabric. But for today, you can just put just a couple of lines going down like that. So the railing, when we do a railing, I like to lay in the space in between the wood. I don't like to figure out the wood spindles and the sides of it, etc. I want to first just lay in the spaces. So I'm going to do that now next to our flag and just lay in. And it doesn't have to be exact. If you were doing a portrait, a commission for someone and of their house, they'd want it to be exact. For our purposes, it does not. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which brings us to our wonderful Christmas tree. And let's put that in just gently. Gentle triangle, not too harsh a triangle. Star here. And you're going to be able to see the tree down to here. So again, we're still above my vantage point, so this is angling down. Let's put in a couple of the spaces in between the spindles here. And this brings us to our post and some bushes. We can also begin to lay in spaces of the railing. Again, we're just getting the form of our house, not worrying about detail yet. For the stairs, let's see where they begin. So they're further down, about here. The top is about here. And to start, I just want to make 4 lines. There are 4 steps. I just want you to make 4 lines like that. We're not going to worry about the details of the steps yet. Okay. We're going to go back to our porch. And what I like to do when I'm working on a house is if it's a dark shutter, I'll just lay that in. The top of the window is following the top of the line of the porch. And I just want to give the indication there's a window there until I'm sure all my locations and sizes are correct and my proportions. Okay, little indication of my friend's chair right here. And then we have the door. And what I loved about this drawing was that the door was open, which is so typical of our friend. His door is always open. And I meant to mention earlier, just such a wonderful person to talk to because he has such a perspective on life. And you know what I mean. Okay. So we're here at the bottom of the stairs. Alrighty, so we have railing, railing, post going down. And again, when you're doing, like, let's say, okay, I'm trying to decide where that post is. Oh, it's a little wider. So I've made a bit of a darker line, but that's going to make for a more interesting drawing. You don't want all your lines to look the same. All right, so now I want to go back to the perspective of the box. So I'm going to put in, this is my eye level line of the porch. Okay, so like this box, we're going down. Right, so the porch, part of the porch goes this way, right? Because it's above my line, it's going down. And you can make a line like this to locate your windows. Again, lay in the window with those shutters. Maybe part of the glass of this window is dark. And also your window sash is going to be going down angle as well. We'll worry about where all these things meet another time. Okay, we'll come back to that. So you're getting, because this bush is in our way, we can't see this part of the house. Okay? Because of this bush. But that can be a saving thing, like the tree when I was a child. So I'd like you to lay in, and this is when we do our scribbling, and you are allowed to scribble. Right? The bush comes right at that edge of the porch, across the back side of the house, and over, and down. And we'll talk about down here a little bit more later. Okay, so since we did a bush, now let's go up to the dormers. The dormers, again, are a cube, but I like to just start with the vertical lines, sorry. The vertical lines. So here we are at, and if I'm moving too fast, don't worry, because you can watch this after and work along with it. So I want to say, okay, where is that dormer in relation to my roof? Okay, it is, we don't see this corner of the roof. It kind of curves out, so I'm going to drop my vertical line here and here, decide how wide they are. Again, these dormers are going to be on the same sort of line, imaginary line, I should say, as the porch. Okay, I'm going to go up to here. So we want to say, okay, how far apart are they? And are they above the tree, etc. Right? Dropping your lines. Where are they? Where are the dormers in relation to the chimney? And you can just make a quick triangle up there. Okay, and a quick triangle up there. Now these are all kinds of angles that you'll get used to drawing. I'm going to sketch them in just very quickly right now. So we have the beginning to take shape. We have a window up here, right? Again, you can just start to lay in, and it doesn't have to be exactly right yet. These are still angling down. Okay. What I'd like to do in the time we have remaining is talk about we're going to just quickly, when you're laying in bushes in your drawing, have your lines curvy. And if you've been with me before, you know I like to joke about you can be nervous and it can be and also just try to put some lines in them to indicate they are the bushes so that you know it's not a rock in your landscape. Now this is going to come in front of this one. So when you're working in the landscape, you might even need to walk up to your subject and get closer and say, okay, there are 3 bushes there and they're these shapes. Okay. Next to this house is a beautiful rhododendron. So I'm doing very, very squiggly lines for it. And then a few squiggly lines in here so we know we're looking through the porch. I don't know if you can see that. A few squiggly lines. And then I had to decide what trees I wanted to keep in my landscape because there are so many out there to choose from. But choose the ones that make the best composition. And again, you might try it a few times before you say, oh, I just want to keep these 2 trees. So I just kept these 2 trees. And this is where it's a lot of fun. When you're doing landscape drawing outdoors, you just can make this area dark. Now I had added a tree on this side of the house, but I liked just shading it a little lighter. And before we have to end, I want to just have you put in the walkway. So this is another part of perspective. We are creating space. You feel like you can walk into that walkway and go visit our good friends and have wonderful discussion on the porch. Some more beautiful hostas. A good way to start to draw plants is just go boom, boom, an angled line, and then this. Boom, boom, and then this. Boom, boom, straight line. So the beautiful hosta here, and then there are a lot of bushes here to lay in. And then you have to decide where you want to end your drawing. So there was a very pretty group of little plants here and a line for a driveway. And I loved this line of the planting bed. Right, and the house, forgot about this little part of the porch, back porch. Again, just little indications because you're finding where everything is. When you're doing a house as well, or kind of building like bricks, or you don't have to draw every piece of siding or brick, but you can just give nice little indications. So I've done a couple of lines here to indicate this is the side of the house going down this way, and some of the boards of the porch. We didn't get to do the door today, but that's okay. I know you have good imagination. We can get that window in quick. Again, see, it's just quick, 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 quick. And then again, verticals, 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 horizontal, 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 and you get the idea of windows. So I hope that is a help to begin to draw structures out in the outdoors. I'd love for it if you drew your home or your front porch, a part of your home that you love or a place you love to be. I'd love it if you got a sketchbook. Doesn't have to be expensive. It can be from Dollar Tree. You just need to get out and start and try. Okay? And I'd love to see what you do. And especially if you continue and do this in even more detail, maybe even add color. Keep your eye on perspective and how buildings look when you're in the car. Maybe with your parents, if you're children and you're in the car, you can look and say, oh yeah, that building goes this way, and then it goes this way, okay? So any questions or comments, please put them below in the comments, and I'll be really happy to answer them. I'm so glad you joined me tonight, and I hope you have a very good week. See you next time.